Hi, this is Cheryl for Cut at Home. Today I have for you the wonderful Celebrations pierced dies. You can see on both of these cards, I'll just move them and show them one at a time, the pretty piercing detail that's here at the edges. Actually, I say pretty, but I shouldn't say that because it can be very masculine as well, but it just adds a nice detail for what are otherwise a very plain oval and a very plain rectangle. So it comes in a number of flavors. You have the ovals, the circles, the squares, and the rectangles, all of which essentially work the same. When you open the dies themselves, these are the ovals, and I've pulled out the middle two. You actually have a straight cutting edge, and then you have the inset piece that has the piercing. So it's almost like a two-in-one set. You could cut a straight oval, or you could cut an oval and add the piercing, or you could just do the piercing if you wanted to highlight an area of your cardstock. But assuming you want to do as I did and both cut and pierce, what you want to do is on your paper, this we'll pretend it's laying on a cutting plate because it would be if you're cutting. I'm going to put the straight cutting die face down on it. Then I've got to set the piercing die in the center and just kind of center it there. You can eyeball it. There's not too much distance that you have to worry too much about it. Then I want to take some tape and tape that in place because the dies will move. That's just one of the painter's tape. Its brand is frog tape. It doesn't really matter. But instead of using it straight as it comes, I sort of put it on my clothing first so it has a little less sticky, a little more lint, and that way it will have less stick to the die and to the paper, because when you run this through your die cutting machine, whichever one you use, it is going to cause the tape to stick harder because we're going to apply a lot of pressure on this. So just run it through the normal way you would run a thin wafer thin die sandwich through your cutting machine, and then you've got to do the embossing step, whatever your machine calls for to emboss as well, to end up with this level of detail. But it will both cut and emboss at the same time. You can see on the inner side here, you also have the other details that Spellbinders is famous for, and just adds a really sort of classy effect to your cards, especially when you want something plain. Thanks for watching.